Okay, we're going to start our first topic in Lesson 2. We've already completed Lesson 1, and our first topic in Lesson 2 is called the number line and ordering. And as always, as we're going through this lesson, make sure you pause or hit the rewind to make sure you get good notes on this lesson. Now, before, up to this point, we've talked about what are called natural numbers, or in other words, the counting numbers. And remember what the natural numbers or counting numbers are called. If we start counting, we start with 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then dot, dot, dot. And that means that they keep on going with that. So those are the natural numbers or the counting numbers. The whole numbers is very close to the counting numbers or natural numbers. We just add a 0 in front. So the whole numbers would be 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. And usually when you notice that I left the 3 out of there, I could have put the 3 in, I could have had 0, 1, 2, 3, then the dot, dot, dot. Usually you write 3 numbers down and then the dot, dot, dot. Remember what the dots mean. It means they keep on going. Now the integers is something that we have not talked about, and really that's the theme of this lesson, which is the number line ordering and including what are the integers. Now the integers, just for note's sake right now, I want you to write this down, would be dot, 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 and then I'm going to have a -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. And right now that might not make much sense, but it will here in a little bit once we actually get into the number line. So the integers then really are the whole numbers, and then we have some negative numbers in there, don't we? And the dots at both ends means that it keeps on going both directions. So in other words, on the left, next I'd have a -4, and then a -5, and then -6, and they keep on going. And over here I'd have 4, 5, and 6, and they keep on going. So notice the difference between naturals, wholes, and integers. Now let's get to this number line. Now right in the middle of our number line, and that could vary from time to time, but usually 0 is right in the middle. And 0 is really a neutral number. I'm going to write neutral. Spelled that wrong, so I'm going to try that again. So N-E-U-T, there we go. So neutral. And neutral meaning that it's neither positive or negative. Now, to the right of 0 would be our positive number. So to the right of 0, okay, I'd have my positive integers. Okay? So I'll put positives. And then to the, and I'm going to put this in a different color, to the left of 0 would be my what? My negatives. Right? So I'm going to fill these in. And so to the right are my positive integers. So again, I'm using the term integers, meaning numbers that the 1, the 2, the 3. Really an integer is any number that's not a fraction or a decimal. So I can't have fractions or decimals. So I'd have 1, I'd have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And they keep on going because of the arrow. That's what the arrow means. Now to the left, I have the negatives. So I'd have a -1, a -2, a -3, a -4, a -5, -6, and they keep on going because of the arrow. And again, I want to emphasize that 0 right in the middle is considered neither positive nor negative. It's neutral. Now there's a couple characteristics of this number line that we really need to look at. One characteristic is, or in other words, one rule, what happens to our numbers as we move left to right? So in other words, as I move along the number line to the right, what's happening to my numbers? The numbers are getting larger, right? And as I move from the right, so how about if I started over here? As I move right to left, numbers would be doing what? They'd be getting smaller. So there's really a general rule here that we can use. For example, a -4 compared to a -5. How about if I wanted to compare those to see if which one is larger? if a number that lies to the left of another one. So in other words, a -5 lies to the left of a -4. -5 then is smaller. Any number that lies to the left of another one is smaller. So my -5 is smaller than my -4. And I could use that same rule over here. My -3 is smaller than a -2. Any number that lies to the left of another number is smaller. And I could even jump spaces like this. So in other words, how would I compare a -6 to a -2? Well, a -6 is smaller than a -2. Why? Because it lies to the left of a -2 on the number line. So any number that lies to the left of another number is smaller. Now you can also compare integers this way. What would a negative number compare to a positive number? How about if I'm comparing a -6 to 4? Well, -6 is to the left of 4 on the number line, so a -6 is smaller. Now really, that's a pretty simple rule here. Any number that's negative is what compared to a positive? So any number that's negative, how's that compare to a positive integer? Well, any number that's negative is smaller, because we know negatives lie to the left of the positives, right, on the number line. So this is the number line and just kind of the basic ways of setting it up. Let's take a look at example 1. Use a number line to arrange these numbers in order. All right? So on my number line, and here's how you would do this, because they are asking us to use a number line to arrange those. So I got to kind of fill in my numbers. So I'm going to put 0 in the middle, and then I'm going to fill in the other numbers. So, and then I'm going to put a dot above the ones that they're talking about. So let's see, I want to go up to at least 7 for the positives and at least a -7 for the negatives. So I'm going to go 7 each way. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then for the negatives, I have a -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and -7. So now I've made my number line, and more or less this would probably be the way that you would set it up. Now the -1, then I'm just going to put dots above the numbers that they're representing up here. So I've got a -1 right there. I've got 4 right here. I've got a -7 right here. I've got my 0, which is neutral. I've got my 7. And then finally we have the 5. So notice that I've put the numbers in order. I've used the number line to arrange these numbers in order. So the order of these numbers would be a -7, -1, 0, 4, 5, and 7. And so really what I've done here is I've put these numbers in order from smallest to largest. And when they say put them in order, they are referring smallest to largest. So there's a couple things that you got to do on this type of problem. You got to make the number line. You got to put dots above the numbers that they're talking about, and then you got to write down the order that they had there. It's my order from smallest to largest. All right, last example. It says arrange the following in order from least to greatest. Now they don't say use a number line on this. So you're not going to use a number line. First of all, I know a negative is the smallest one, right? There's only one negative in there, so that's going to be my smallest. So I'll start with a -637. Now I got to put the rest of them in order. Now I have a number in the 700s, and the rest are in the 300s, right? So really, my 300 numbers are going to be next. So now I got to determine which is, and I made a mistake there. I actually have a number in the 600s there, don't I? So my numbers in the 300s would be next here. I'd have 2 of them. Then I'd have my 600 number, which is 673. And then I'd have my largest number, which is 736, right? So now I got to figure out what's next here. What number is smaller? Well, this is 367, this is 376. My 367 would be my next largest, and then my 376. So what I've done here is I put these numbers in order from least to greatest. And then just one final check here. So my negative's the smallest. Then I have my 300 numbers, with the 367 being smaller than the 376. Then I have my 600 number, then I have my 700 number. So we should be good there. So the topic on this lesson was the number line and ordering.